I know what you're thinking. Towers suck. You need at least 3 or 4 towers for it to be worth it. And 99% of the time when you find one, there's a fucking lake right in the middle. What is this? And when you finally have a good setup, you're going to have to spend quite a bit of money on good tablets. That's exactly how I felt when I first started mapping and how I still feel to a certain degree. But there's a lot of things you can do to min-max both finding the towers and juicing them for insane value. Towers are the primary juicing system for maps in Prio 2. Each tower can hold up to 3 tablets, and tablets equals juice, so more towers, more juice. So what is actually an acceptable tower setup? So the 2 steps that I recommend are 1, a corruption zone that you cleanse with a triple tower setup right next to it. I've already ran the maps, but they're like right here. And the second option is a quad tower setup pretty close to each other with around 10 maps that are quad tower juiced. If you're like me, you're probably thinking that this shit will take forever to find, and running maps to look for the towers itself is like 1 div per hour max, right? But that's actually just not the case because of something called tower hopping. So the way tower hopping works is this. On the border of my maps here, I'm trying to push outside into the fog here, and what you normally do is this map, this map, this map, this map, this map, this map, right? That's like 4 or 5 maps. But instead what I can do is there is this tower, I insert a grand precursor tablet, and boom. Every single map within the radius of this tower is now accessible. I can now immediately jump into this map and skip like 4 or 5 maps in the middle. Ideally, you don't really clear any maps at all. What instead I can do here is I can tower hop to this tower, run it 1 time, right? And then hop to these towers and use another grand precursor tablet. So what you want to do here is use this tower hopping method to find one of 2 things. You want to either find the quad or triple corruption tower setup from before, or you find these citadels. When you clear these citadels, you get fragments. These fragments are worth like 1.5 to 2 div each, and you can drop 2 of them if you have the right setup. When I was doing it, I was making around 6 div per hour just off fragments from the citadel farming. That means we only really want to farm towers if we can make more than 60 per hour running them, which is why I recommend we only do triple tower corruption and quad tower non-corrupted setups. If 60 per hour citadel farming sounds insane to you, that's probably because you don't have the vision. Literally. At the time of this video, these are roughly 2.5 to 3 div each, and what it allows you to do is run your maps in extra time or more. Emphasis on the or more. What these tablets do is they irradiate your maps like normal precursor tablets, but instead of completing the map from now on, you will just remove the irradiation from the map. This means if we use a vision on a tower near a citadel and run the citadel, it won't complete it, but instead remove the irradiation, allowing us to run it again. Here's the super OP part. If you complete the map and remove the vision irradiation, you can irradiate it with another blue tablet from a different tower, run it again, and it will only remove the radiation from the map and not complete it. This means if you have 2 towers near a citadel, you can use only 1 vision to run the citadel 3 times. This shit is absolutely broken for citadel setups like this one, where it's a double citadel with 2 or 3 towers near them. I run a vision on 1 tower, run each citadel once to remove the irradiation, then reapply the irradiation on another tower, run them each 1 more time, irradiate again on another tower, run again, then run 1 last time to complete the maps. With this setup, I spent around 3 divine to run 2 citadels literally 7 times, making 13 fragments. These fragments are 1.5 to 2 div each, profiting me easily 20 div by the most conservative estimates. How do I get 2 fragment drops per citadel? Well, fragments are considered to be waystones, so waystone drop rates affect how many fragments you can get. So I set up my atlas like this, get as many increased waystone nodes as possible, and then I run maps with as much waystone percentage as I can get. If you use this regex, which I will link in the description, it will essentially show you every single map that has above 100% waystone drop chance right here, and is both non-corrupted and non-delirious. Use 3 distilled envies on them. This will just give it 90% more increased waystones found in the area. This means that I now have a 200% waystone drop chance map, and this increases the likelihood we drop fragments. For citadels, it's only really positive EV to run visions if there are 2 or more towers for 1 citadel, or 2 or more citadels for 1 tower. But this is entirely based on the price of fragments versus visions. So if you didn't see how it was possible to make 6 div an hour tower hopping before, I'm sure you see the vision now. So assuming after however long tower hopping, we find a triple corruption or quad tower setup, what do we do now? So what actually constitutes as a triple or quad? I'd say it only counts if you get at least 7 or 8 maps that are actually triple or quad overlapped. So in this case, right, here, you see like these few maps. Yeah, like there's a triple corruption zone here, but it's only like 3 or 4 maps you get. So I wouldn't really consider this to be, a triple corrupted. But if you look down here, we actually have a quad here. So if you look, this is the overlap for the quad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8. Yeah, that's good enough, I would say. You get 8 maps, 7 or 8 maps here. And then when you vision it, you get actually around 14 to 16 maps. Very, very nice. This is acceptable. So assuming you get a good tower setup, what tablets do you want? Unlike before with Citadels, every time we juice these Giga Tower setups, we need to use a vision since it allows us to get double the maps since you have to run each map twice. This is by far the most broken tablet in any setup. To my knowledge, there are only 2 really good juicing setups that can make like 10 div plus an hour as a solo player, and those are Breach and Ritual setups. Those both cost over 15 div for a quad tower of tablets, but I'll get into exactly how to set those up in a different video. For today, I'll just explain general juicing guidelines. For tablets, we care about only one thing way more than the others, and that's quantity of items. You can get 7% item quantity on a tablet, which means if we have a quad like we do here, with 1 vision, that leaves us 11 more tablets. If we have 7 quant on each of those tablets, that's 77% increased quantity of items. This, along with map quantity and Atlas boosts, means we're literally dropping double the items of a non-juice setup. This is one of the few places where we can get item quantity, so we need it on the tablets. The next thing we care about is whatever specific farm you're going for. I don't really know about all the league mechanics, but just to give you an example, for breaches, we care about obviously the item quantity, but also things like having another breach or something like having more density in your breaches. These tablets are really expensive. If you want a lower investment, go for quant plus just any multiplier like monsters or another juice for whatever mechanic you're farming like expedition, ritual, etc. With that being said, the last lever for juicing maps are the maps themselves. Like tablets, the most important thing is quantity. It's not 100% necessary like tablets, but you can absolutely shit out maps, so why not get quant on your maps since it's so easy to do? Next most important is item rarity, and after that you want some sort of mod that juices monsters. This looks like rares get another mod, more rares, magics, pack size, etc. For distills, we are going to go with Paranoia, since rares are the best loot pinatas in the game, and these only cost like 2 or 3 exalts per. The last thing to mention is item rarity on gear. Maps are pretty easy to clear in Path of Exile 2. I have 33k tooltip DPS on my Lightning Spear, and I have 0 problems at all clearing the absolute most juiced endgame content in Path of Exile 2. That is why it's so important to get as much item rarity as you possibly can. The way rarity works is after a certain point there are diminishing returns. What the exact number is has yet to be tested, but the general consensus is anywhere from 130 to 200 item rarity being the soft cap. If you're already one-shotting rare monsters with 33k Lightning Spear damage, is getting 10k more damage going to do anything? No. But getting 20% rarity will. So I highly recommend that you try and get this rarity number as high or as close to like 150, 200 as you can, assuming that you can still one-shot monsters. And that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, as usual, I'm happy to answer them in the comments below or during any of my live streams. If you like the video, then like the video. 200 likes and I will post the turbo juicing breach setup. Yeah.